Welcome to this episode of Advice That Matters, where we'll talk about Economics 101. Now, the driving force of Advice That Matters is economics. It's actually knowing your role in the bigger picture of the world that you live in. Now, why would you want to know economics, and why do I stress it so much? Well, let's put it this way. It's like driving a car. When you drive a car, you don't necessarily know how it works underneath the hood, but you do know how to drive the car. You know how to pass the test, get your permit, get your license, and drive from place to place. Why? Because it's needed. Economics, in much the same way, is all around you. It happens to you on a daily basis whether you like it or you don't. So it's in your best interest to actually know it, to actually take advantage of the things of why knowing it will benefit you, and to make it benefit your life and the lives of your loved ones. So we're doing here just the basics. It's just the basics. We're talking about the basics here. Now, the driving force of economics is demand and supply. Without demand, there's nothing that can be actually sold or exchanged. We are now in 2012. We don't trade things anymore. We actually have this medium for exchange called money, right? So we have demand and we have supply. Now, we'll use the iPhone because, you know, everybody loves the iPhone, right? I mean, come on, Steve Jobs, what are you talking about? The iPhone has demand. People say, hey, I want the iPhone 5. It just came out. I gotta have it on day one. Well, Apple says, we have to supply it. But we don't want to produce too much supply because then we'll have a bunch of iPhones sitting in our backyard that's not making us any money. So we want to produce just right the amount of iPhones to meet the demand for the iPhone. Now, at the heart of economics is demand and supply. So you have your demand and supply curve, and basically they're straight lines. Demand goes like this, supply goes like this. If you have too much supply, not enough demand, you have to lower your prices. Simply because there's too much stuff and there's not enough demand. If you lower the price enough, so if every product that was out there that was being sold, every product or service cost 45 cents, everybody would have it, just about, right? Right, but you don't want to lower your price that much. You want to lower your price where you can still make money off of your supply, because the supply you purchased was not free. It's sunk cost, but it was still purchased. So what you do is you'll lower your price until you can actually get it sold. You flip-flop the same situation, and you have low supply, high demand. Well, in that case, you don't want to sell it at the equilibrium price, or at the price that will get you the most profit. You want to sell it a little bit higher because you don't have as much supply, so you can sell less. So you want to kind of raise the price to kind of get, you know, the extra stuff, or basically the extra money that you would get. Of course, in economics, you want to have your demand equal your supply. When demand equals supply, is when you have maximum profitability. Another driving force in economics is opportunity cost, which is basically the cost of the next best alternative. So, if you have a situation where you pay for something, that money is gone. You will never see that money ever again. It's used towards that purchase and it's gone. The opportunity cost comes into play when you say, what could I have bought with that money instead of what I bought? What is my next best alternative? Now, if the next best alternative has a higher value than what you actually spent your money on, you need to reanalyze your decision making and how you spend your money. If the next best alternative has lower value, it's a good thing. But, you know, it's still what's the next best alternative, and it's kind of played into economics to produce maximum scenarios for companies and things of that sort or nature. Now, let's talk about demand and supply in your life, in the life of the individual. Now, obviously, you have microeconomics, you have economics, and you have macroeconomics. Now we're talking about micro. Now we're talking about individual economics here. So in your life, your demand, simply put, is just your needs and your wants. You have needs, you have wants. They have to be kind of, you know, addressed, and that will kind of, you know, that will make your life worth living, right? Something like that. And then you have your supply. Your supply is your cash. We don't all have equal supply, right? Some people make more than others, and that's America. It's the world that we live in. Step your game up. So if you have, as we talked about previously in the previous example, in simple economics, if you have high demand but low supply, your cost of living goes up, or price goes up. In this case, your price is your cost of living. Why is that? If you have high demand, which is high needs and wants, and you have low supply, which is cash, then you pretty much are buying everything that you do buy with credit cards or being loaned, and it's not free to be loaned money, right? So your cost, or the cost of your existence, actually goes up. Now we reverse that. This is economics, simple economics, and your needs and wants. If you actually live within your means, so if your demand is less than or equal to your supply, you're now living within your means, then your cost of existence actually goes down. Why? Because you have your wants and your needs, and then you have cash to pay for all your wants and your needs. Well, guess what? There's no cost to hold cash. There's no cost to carry cash. So it does actually really decrease your price. It decreases your price level, it decreases your cost of living on this earth. So how do you take that information and make that benefit you? That is a question that you need to answer, and that's something that we'll go over in future videos on this website. Just kind of getting your brain into the whole economics so that you can see how you can push your dollar or take your dollar the furthest. With that said, did this help you? If it did, then please go ahead and spread the word, like us on Facebook. And if you actually have a question, if you have a situation that you're going through, something that you need more advice on, or a more specific situation, feel free to use our contact form, get in touch with us, and we will address your concerns.